Women in the Mali Empire played an important role in various aspects of society. Despite being patriarchal, women had a degree of autonomy and were able to achieve high social status in some cases. One notable example is the story of the legendary Hausa Muslim, Queen Amina Zazzau. She was queen of the Zazzau kingdom, now Zaria, in the Kanyuda state, and led her army in several successful battles. Amina was born into the royal family in the early 16th century, into the Zazzau kingdom, which was a powerful and wealthy kingdom in what is now northern Nigeria. Zazzau was one of the dominant states in the region, controlling a large portion of the trans-Saharan trade routes that connected West Africa with the Mediterranean world. Amina's father, King Nikotau, was a notable figure in the history of the Zazzau kingdom. He was the 22nd king of Zazzau and reigned for roughly 30 years. Her mother was Bekwa Turnku. She was not originally Hausa, but Fulani. Historians speculate that she moved in from the coastal region, due to her having guns that were acquired by traders. She was a member of a warlike matriarchal clan, and in 1536 she founded Zaria, and named it after her youngest daughter, who would later become queen after Amina, and rule for a short time. Their clan were renowned warriors, known for their military prowess and strategic brilliance. They also built alliances with neighboring kingdoms and helped establish the trans-Saharan trade routes that brought wealth and prosperity to the region. As the daughter of Bekwa Turnku, Amina was born into a position of privilege and power. She grew up in the royal court, surrounded by advisors, warriors, and other influential figures. Her father's reputation as a warrior and leader influenced her upbringing and education. Amina was exposed to military strategy and tactics from a young age, and she learned the importance of alliances and diplomacy in maintaining and expanding the power of the Zazzau kingdom. From a young age, she was exposed to the art of warfare and military tactics, and was trained to be a skilled fighter and leader. She was taught how to use weapons such as swords, spears, and bows and arrows, and would have learned the tactics of cavalry warfare that were commonly used in West Africa at the time. Alongside her military training, Amina also received an education in diplomacy and governance. As a future leader of the Zazzau kingdom, it was important for her to understand how to negotiate alliances and treaties, as well as how to manage the affairs of state. As Amina grew older and took on more responsibility in the court, her training in military tactics and diplomacy became even more important. She learned how to make strategic decisions in times of war, as well as how to navigate the complex political landscape of West Africa. In addition to her training in military tactics and diplomacy, Amina was also taught the traditional skills of weaving, farming, and other domestic duties. Weaving was an important skill in West African society, as it was used to create textiles for clothing and other purposes. Farming was also an essential skill in the Zazzau kingdom, as agriculture was the main source of food and income for most people. Amina learned how to cultivate crops such as millet and sorghum, and she would have understood the importance of proper land management and irrigation. Other domestic duties that Amina trained in include cooking, cleaning, and childcare. These were all important skills for a young woman who may one day become a wife and mother, and they would have been seen as necessary for any woman in the royal court, regardless of her future role. After the death of Bekwa Turnku, Amina's younger brother Karama ascended to the throne and became the 23rd king of Zazzau. As the daughter of a king and the sister of a reigning king, Amina held a position of power and influence in the royal court, and played an important role in advising and supporting her brother. Although Karama was the king, Amina was still highly respected and regarded by the people of Zazzau. Her military prowess and leadership skills were well known, and she was seen as a valuable asset to the kingdom. Under Karama's rule, Amina continued to play an important role in the court. She advised her brother on military strategy and tactics, and used her diplomatic skills to negotiate alliances with neighboring kingdoms. Despite her important role in the court, Amina was not content to simply be a supportive advisor. Recognizing her military prowess and leadership abilities, Karama appointed Amina as his advisor and military commander. Amina quickly proved herself to be an effective leader, helping to stabilize the kingdom and expand its borders through military conquests. As military commander, Amina led several successful campaigns, capturing key trading cities and increasing the wealth and influence of the Zazzau kingdom. Her military strategy was based on a combination of cavalry warfare and siege tactics, and she was skilled at using both to great effect. In addition to her military achievements, Amina also provided wise counsel to her brother, advising him on matters of diplomacy and governance. Her leadership helped to maintain the stability of the kingdom and ensure its continued growth and prosperity. Amina was known for her strategic brilliance and her skillful use of cavalry and archers in battle. Her military tactics were based on her intimate knowledge of the terrain and her understanding of her opponent's weaknesses. Amina's army was made up of a mix of cavalry and foot soldiers, with the cavalry playing a key role in her military strategy. The cavalry was made up of skilled horsemen who were able to move quickly and effectively on the battlefield, allowing Amina to surprise and outflank her opponents. In addition to her cavalry, Amina also relied heavily on archers, who were able to rain arrows down on her opponents from a safe distance. This allowed Amina to weaken her opponents before engaging them in close combat, giving her army a significant advantage in battle. Amina was also known for her ability to use the terrain to her advantage. She would often choose battlegrounds that gave her army a strategic advantage, such as narrow valleys or steep hillsides. This allowed her to limit the mobility of her opponents, and increase the effectiveness of her cavalry and archers. Despite her brother's weaknesses as a leader, Amina remained loyal to him, and served as his advisor and military commander until his death. After his death, Amina became the Queen of Zazzau. Her ascent to the throne was not without debate, as there were several factions within the kingdom that opposed her rule. However, Amina was able to consolidate her power and establish herself as a strong and effective queen. As queen, Amina continued to expand the power and influence of the Zazzau kingdom. She launched several successful military campaigns, capturing new territories and consolidating her hold on existing ones. Her conquests brought significant wealth and resources to the kingdom, making it one of the most powerful and prosperous in the region. In addition to her military conquests, Amina was also known for her public works projects. She built a network of roads throughout the kingdom, making travel and trade easier and more efficient. She also commissioned the construction of several public buildings, including a new palace and a central marketplace. Amina was not only a skilled warrior and wise queen, but also a patron of the arts who supported the development of traditional music and literature in her kingdom. She recognized the value of cultural expression as a way to build and strengthen the identity of her people. Under Amina's patronage, traditional music and dance flourished in the Zazzau kingdom. She supported the development of new musical styles and encouraged the participation of both men and women in musical performances. Amina was also known to be a skilled musician and dancer herself, and she would often perform at public events and ceremonies. In addition to music, Amina also supported the development of literature and storytelling in her kingdom. She encouraged the creation of new stories and fables, and she would often commission poets and storytellers to perform at public events. Amina recognized the power of storytelling as a way to preserve cultural traditions and pass them down from one generation to the next. While Amina's exact date of death is not known, it is believed that she ruled as the Queen of Zazzau for around 34 years. Some accounts suggest that she died in battle against the neighboring Quararafa kingdom. The Quararafa kingdom had been attempting to invade Zazzau for some time, and Amina had led her army to repel the invasion. According to legend, Amina was leading her army in battle when she was struck by a poisoned arrow. Despite being wounded, she continued to fight until she eventually succumbed to her injuries. Other accounts suggest that she died of natural causes after a long and successful reign as queen. Regardless of the circumstances of her death, her legacy has endured. Her story continues to inspire women in Africa and around the world to this day. In many African cultures, Amina is celebrated as a role model for young women, and her story is often told as an example of what women can achieve when they are empowered to lead and pursue their dreams. Her legacy has inspired countless African women to break down barriers and pursue leadership roles in politics, business, and other areas. In conclusion, Amina's life offers valuable lessons that can be applied to our own lives. We can also use Amina's example to inspire and empower others, particularly women, to pursue their own goals and ambitions, and to break down barriers to achieving success. Ultimately, Amina's legacy serves as a reminder of the power of leadership, perseverance, and cultural heritage to shape our lives and our world. Thank you for watching Conceptual Learning's Amina Sarauniya Zazzua, Lessons in Female Leadership and Strength. Please like and subscribe to show your support.